Anyway, y'all ready to get the show started?
Yes.
Sure.
What are y'all excited to talk about?
That's not how you supposed to start the show.
Oh, hey guys. What are you excited to talk about?
That's why you keep.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You don't. You're not even gonna ask us how we doing.
No, I know. I was just about to say it.
What it do, yo? Fake Tana here. Terrence is back after another year-long hiatus for our 150th episode. On today's show, the ANX crew reviews the box office flop Borderlands and try to have a conversation about the importance of using source material when making new movies. Genesis has some spicy takes today, and unbiased Ann is completely shocked at what he thinks about Windbreaker. If you're new here, welcome. That subscribe button is free, yo. If you're already subscribed, thank you. Remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss my videos. Enjoy the show.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah, what's up with that professional?
I know.
This ain't
at the office.
Always trying to be cool. Say, man, where the hell you been?
For real.
So I've been down, but I'm better, and so but I'm still playing my games. I'm still doing the things that the gamers do. Maybe not as much. And instead of 10 hours, maybe 7. But
Okay.
I just remember it was fall. It was fall 2023. It was a windy fall day. And Terrence,
the leaves were orange.
And Terrence came through. Was like, man, I really think we should review Mortal Kombat. I think we should review MK1 and the PlayStation Portal. Both of these things are cool. That's what he told me.
Right. So
and then we did. And then the channel kind of blew up based off of those things because I said some mean things. And then he just disappeared.
Ooh, he's like, I'm not trying to be associated with you.
It's too hot. It's too
People
hot.
hate you.
The ANX Gamecast is too hot over there, boy.
So I mean, with the Portal, they've made some changes to it but it's still the Portal.
I mean, it's worthless.
But you use it.
I don't.
I thought you were using it to play the puzzle games.
I'm done with the puzzle games. There's only so much puzzle that you can do.
Wow.
He finished the puzzle.
I got the platinum on the Puzzle Quest 3 I was playing, or whatever it is. I got the platinum trophy, and I was like, There's DLC out there now, but Yeah. So anyway.
All right, what are y'all excited to talk about?
Terrence?
I'm excited to talk about everything.
He hasn't been here so long.
Yeah.
I think
I'm just ready to hear my voice.
there you go. You can hear it probably better now, right? Because I got this
clarity.
So I'm gonna say what I'm excited for, and then I got a couple other things to say. Windbreaker season 1 review. We've been talking about it on the show here or there.
Okay.
We're gonna change up that segment a little bit, and we're gonna just do a whole season 1 review of Windbreaker. What you got?
Borderlands.
The movie or the game?
Movie.
Okay. So what I wanted to say is, AVersion TV is under construction up in this mug.
Yeah, a little bit.
Lots of things have changed. I know this looks like a completely different Borderlands than what you're used to, but we got some other stuff coming. We're gonna upgrade our cameras. We're gonna upgrade our backgrounds. We got tired of the person in that seat always having the cool background. We wanted some cool background too.
Yeah. And we need some new mics. Or not the mic, we need a new holder or something.
Yeah, we're looking into that. But the next thing we're going to do is finish the construction, finish our backgrounds.
Okay.
Unbiased is going to get a new chair. I got a new chair, speaking of Diablo.
Okay.
No, we're not an affiliate because they did not respond to my email. Screw them. But I like the chair. And then we got some new cameras coming. Well, they're already here. They've actually been here, but I need to set them up. So I got some more work to do on the digital side. We got some more work to do on the physical side. And with all that being said, this is episode 150.
150. Yeah. That's crazy.
150. So it's like on one hand, I feel like we should probably be at least 200 by now, because we keep taking these long breaks off. But
Well, COVID didn't help.
Right. That really threw the wrench and everything. But at the same time, 150 episodes is a lot.
Well, and that's just for of ANX, right? I mean,
Yeah.
cumulatively, we've done probably
over 200.
yeah, over
podcasts.
200. Yeah.
Because we had the ANX weekly update, we got the ANX quickcast, we got that one. It counts that one time where I beat up Terrence at Street Fighter. You remember that?
Vaguely.
I mean, that counts, right?
Yeah.
We was out there scrapping for about an hour. That counts. So yeah. Every in the game awards and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and speaking of awards, I think I should know the name of it. I don't want to get the name wrong. I think I know the name of it. I don't want to get the name wrong. Gamescom.
Gamescom.
It's Tuesday. I think it's overseas, so it's actually going to be on around 12/1 Central, and I will be doing a live stream of that event.
Nice.
So come and hang out. I will have one of those teasers out that we're going to go live, so y'all come and join and hang out and chat. I don't know if I can get or talk anybody else to come hang with me. We will see. That's all the announcements I had. Terrence, you got anything before we get started? Because once we get going, boy, it's on.
Let's start it up.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
Round 1.
All right, round 1 in the anime that we are currently watching. I guess we all gonna take a taste of this at the same time.
Okay.
Because we only have one anime this week. We are going to review Windbreaker season 1. What the hell is this?
I don't know. I thought maybe it was a white chocolate, but it might be like a caramel or something. I don't know.
It doesn't smell bad.
No, it smells sweet.
You might have got a good one, bro.
You didn't get the tree bark.
For real.
Okay.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
I'll go.
What is it? Sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet. I don't know what it is. It's good though.
Yeah, I can't tell. Oh, you know what it kind of tastes like? Is it hazelnut?
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
What you think? It's good?
It's good. It's real good.
It's good.
See, since I don't eat sweet that often, yeah, it is real good.
Yeah. All right.
Unbiased Dan.
You got a quick synopsis on what Windbreaker is supposed to be about?
So that is really good.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
cannot tell what that is. I don't know if it's hazelnut, but
It's got a little honey.
it's really good. Anyway, so high level, Windbreaker follows this kid. I know it's Sakura. I get the vowels mixed up with Japanese names all the time. He basically left, I guess wherever he was from, got kicked out of school, and he came specifically to what's it called? I wrote Furin High School because I guess it's known for fighting, and he's got like this goal. He wants to be the best, biggest, whatever fighter at the school. So it kind of shows him just like coming into town, meeting everybody, making some friends, meeting the group. What's it called? Bofurin. That's like the group of fighters at school, right? It's kind of like a club. I don't know. But anyway, so it just shows him kind of getting into the school, trying to find his place, figuring out this group. You know, they meet some, I don't want to spoil anything. They meet another group, I guess.
Oh, well, you're getting too deep into it.
Okay.
So he's coming to the school. He wants to be the head. He wants to be the top
That's
dog at the
basically
school.
it. Yeah.
Okay. This at the end of the day, this anime really, really disappointed me.
Nuh-uh. Did it?
This anime let me all the way to F down.
Why?
I mean, it's when I say it started off so damn good, like really, really, really good.
Okay.
I thought this was going to be the standard. Once we got to like 4 and 5 episodes in, 6 episodes in, I thought this was going to be the standard all the way through.
Okay.
Right? The fighting, the growth of Sakura, right? And all of these different things. The last 4 episodes or so, maybe even 5, yo, you could have just let them shits out. You could have left them out. Like it was I was ready to turn it off. It was I was ready to turn the shit off. Like I was just so disappointed at the second half of the show.
The only thing I didn't like about it is my chief complaint about Dragon Ball Z
BBZ
is that we spend so many episodes fighting. And I started to get a little like, okay, what are we doing here? Is this going to be the bulk of the show? Just fighting? But I felt like we started jumping into like some backstories and it started being more than just about the fight.
Right. But I did want to ask you about the fighting, the very specific question of this fighting is top tier fighting.
Yeah.
This is excellent choreography and cinematography and animation when it comes to fighting, because you can see every push, every punch, every kick, they were doing dirty grappling stuff. They were doing parries. You can see every bit of it. So did that make it better for you than the Dragon Ball Z fights where you can't see anything ever?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely noticed. I didn't love this anime, but I did notice it seemed like it had really good animation, really good graphics, a lot of detail, like you said, in the fighting, and a lot of great music. But anyway, but to answer your question, yeah, I think I did.
But it's still not enough to make you care about people fighting.
No, I'm hoping if there is a season 2.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be season 2. It's already been announced.
That this is going to start getting into some backstories or something else, because I don't want to keep watching people fight. As good as it was, I don't want to keep watching people fight.
Oh,
so I liked it a lot. And even those last couple episodes, I felt like there were more growth, because episode 1, you come to a town, people just start fighting in the street and yelling, and you think you about to get in it too, but in reality, y'all kind of on the same side. They are from your school.
Yep.
You just don't know what's going on at that school for that to happen. And so, and his awkwardness about people actually caring for him or being friends with him. You know, you got that in the first when she was like, "Hey, are you going to eat?" He was like, wait a minute. You doing something for me? You actually giving me something? And so I liked that aspect of it. Now, like what he said in the fighting, yes, the choreography was good. And they had like
excellent
5 to 6 different styles.
Yeah, or more, but yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like we all doing the same thing. You had grapplers, you had taekwondo, you had, disarmers. It was really good. Now, there was doing that scene when the leader, and I won't say as much, but the leader basically went and smashed the other two dudes up.
We can spoil.
Oh, second in command went in because they still had a code. He had a code, and his code was, if we're gonna do stuff, we're gonna do it the right way. And now I'm gonna take your jacket. So I like that aspect of it, and talking to you through. I know you say you don't like all the fighting, but they even said this is our way of communication. So this battle we're about to have is our way of communicating, so we can have an understanding of each other.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting, the whole aspect. Like, we're gonna go to this Ori or whatever they called it. Like it's like a stage. And
right.
Everybody's gonna sit there and just watch you fight. Like, it's kind of crazy, but
they chose it. Was it 6? They chose 6. Each team chose 6.
Was it 6? No, it wasn't 6. It was
5.
Was it 5? 5 fights.
Okay.
At the arena, Ori Arena.
Okay.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah. And so each one of them fought. They had their backstories. Each one of them had their backstories with that person. Most of them. The dude with the long hair, I don't remember his name. He didn't have a backstory.
No.
But he's a brute.
But I mean, the fight also only lasted 2 minutes. So
he's the brute. So I like, and there's a lot of countering, like you said. So I liked it, but I liked the other one because at the end of that on the head, pressing down on the nugget. At the end of that, when he said, "I want to be the number one," he kind of got a feel for it's more, as you say, than just fighting to be number one. And so they kind of started down that path. And then when they went into his general election, then of course they brought out some other characters, and then they went looking for the cat. So
Yeah.
I think that there was growth. I mean, maybe it's small because it's about a cat, but it was leading to something.
Well, I'm fine with the growth. But the way they did the growth was too on the nose. Like when something happened and they specifically referenced it to something that was already said to him, a lesson that someone had already verbally told him, but now he's physically going through it. They would go back and show that scene. Like the last fight between Umemiya and the little short dude.
Mm-hmm.
They went back and showed the lessons that he learned from that fight like 10 times. It's like, we get it. Like, we get it. And then Togame had to apologize and cry 4 and 5 times to him about how he let him down in that situation because he didn't stand up to him, right? And make it be the right way. He just let him basically. And at the end of the day, I don't really even feel like they touched on what they should have touched on. Like, I feel like he was going through Tomiyama. He was in a bad deep state of depression, and they never even really they never really even addressed that from that standpoint. And I really wish they would have just taken that next step and just used that as a moment to, connect with the real audience. So they didn't do that. And
connect with the audience. I won't say real audience, but connect with the audience. There's a lot of machismo in here. It's a lot, like what you say, and especially with the main character, because even when they try to pull it out of him, it's always that pullback.
But see, I feel like this is less machismo, because unless you're looking at machismo as like front and fake, because they show a lot of male emotion in this.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does. All his blushing and all his I'm gonna pretend like I don't notice that you're doing this,
right?
And
but still
emotion.
It's the facial emotion, but there's always that pullback. What do you mean? Let me be.
But it's still emotion. Like it's I'm blushing, and that's telling the audience like, no, this means something to him deeper, right? But then
when they explain it, it doesn't.
But then
it doesn't give off that.
But then he reacts with anger and rage. That's still emotion. So it's all the whole range gambit of emotions for a lot of these characters.
Yeah, I'm tough, and that's really his character. But it's starting to kind of wane towards the end.
But the whole point of the show is, yeah, I'm tough, but you clearly recognize that no, y'all really aren't. You might be strong and skillful, but I'm not some tough badass that I appear to be. Like, that's the whole point of the show as far as the beginning, early stages. Like, you think these are some rough, crazy dudes that are probably doing bad things, and no, they're saving cats out of trees, right?
And protecting the community.
In the beginning, it's protecting community. Towards the end, it becomes the cats.
Well, I'm just saying, just in general, like, this is what you do. You go, I'm painting the graffiti. I'm saving the cats. I'm saving people from local thugs. I'm cleaning up the streets. Like, that's not what you would expect if you just see them on the surface. So I feel like it's less of the machismo thing.
Yeah, and I feel like, like now again, all of them, or what to do with. He was the ladies' man. He was like, "Hey, come eat with me" or whatever. And
that was kind of cringy to me. I didn't know what was going on. That was a cringy, because she didn't seem like she wanted to be around him either.
Yeah,
she wasn't comfortable around him either. So that's what was weird.
But when it comes, I think she was awkward. It was awkward because of how it came to be. Not so much awkward of him, but based upon her situation that she was somewhere she didn't want to be either. Mm-hmm. And the dude was trying, and he came over there and basically just kind of swept her away. It's like more like, wait, what's going on? And then once it came out that, hey, this dude was trying to do blah blah blah, then they all kind of acted together in unison. Mm-hmm. Now the dude was still, his fighting style was more like sway and let the punch go over here, and I may wind up getting hit because of it. But I like that part. The fighting was good to me. Yeah, I wasn't berserk, of course, but it was. I like the different styles. I like martial arts, so when you give me more than one, and to see how they fight against each other with, said teaching. I actually liked it.
Well, I'm glad you said teaching, because that's the other thing that's weird about this show. It's about kids being in school in high school, but
You don't really see any of
you
that.
don't see no
There's
teachers.
no teachers at
There's
all.
no so I'm curious to see, well, how do you get to the next grade level? And does
Season 2.
does
I'm
well
pretty sure they'll say more about this.
But you're speaking because we don't see any school.
yeah
Really.
yeah, you're just in a school.
You're in a school,
but it's
but-
all beat up, tore down. There's no teachers. There's no books. There's no. So it's just like, is it really about kids in school? I'm just waiting to see
Right.
if they're going to make this make sense, or if they're going to make this, if they're going to normalize this, or what's going to happen next with that piece of it. Because they definitely have the different grades in school, because that's what you see at the end.
They
and
talk
you
about,
meet-
yeah.
and you meet all the other leaders of the other classes.
Of the class, a great class.
Year 2, year 3, right? And so it's like, how do you graduate? And I'm assuming that's because it's no secret. They tell you right in the beginning that Sakura ends up being the leader of the school. They tell you that in the beginning. That's the other thing that's weird about this anime. So it's literally all about how he got to be the head of the school. And I'm just hoping that I hope it goes beyond that.
So they did that in another anime though. The beginning is the end.
My Hero.
My Hero.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're showing everything you're showing you is like
Yeah.
what happened.
What the lead up?
Because
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for, and I know I could probably find this out because all the animes are based off manga, and I could probably go read the manga and figure it out. However, I'm still waiting on the school-based anime that follows more than one main character. And I feel like the characters in here are so strong that they could do that. Like, so for example, I doubt that he gets to be top dog by fighting Umeme. That's what he called him, right? So that's what sticks in my head. I doubt he becomes the main character, the top dog, by fighting him. I'm just assuming that he goes off to college or something, and as Sakura is still. But my thing is, follow him to college. Then that can be a whole different. That can be a whole separate show. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm still waiting on that type of school thing where we can branch off and start following other people's paths if they go to another school or something like that.
We just finished season 1. We still have more to.
I really hope though that they, for me personally, because I kind of get tired of the fighting, but I hope they start delving into more personal stories and situations, and
I don't, because when they did on here, I did not necessarily. Okay, yes, I like the backstories, but when they started getting to the actual personal growth of the characters, I did not enjoy those parts of the show.
yeah.
I did not enjoy it. I accepted it as a thing that has to happen, right? Because I've seen this 15 million times. It's I don't want to say it's your average shonen, because it's better than your
Correct.
average shonen, but it's just a shonen, right? So and that's what they do. But oh man, all that rehashing and recapping and this, I learned this, and it was too on the nose. Like, I should be able to do some inferring, like, okay, he learned that from over here. But no, they're just like, hey, he learned that right here by drinking this Red Bull in season 1, episode 3, when he talked to Kotaha, right? And it's just like, now we're going to play you that whole thing over so you really get it. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this just happened like earlier in that same episode. I'm like, why are you showing me this shit again? Like, oh my damn. Like, no, we're not doing this. And they did that. They did the shit for like 4 episodes. So anybody out there, I don't never tell anybody to skip nothing. But after the fight between what's his face, Umeme, and the little short dude, you can skip right and just watch the last episode. You don't got to watch none of that shit in between, because that shit was trash. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't feel the same way. I don't feel the same way, because it introduced other characters, and so if you say you want character introduction or you want some more,
They weren't in that last episode.
What, the characters?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Not to the point where they were, the class, the expanding of the class. I guess the class rep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he was doing. Yeah. So I think that it needed to be done instead. And then
it's just gonna be the people that end up following him. He's building his core group of people. that will probably follow him into most of the battles that he's going to be in. People in his grade, right? Year 1 students, these other year 1 students, they've been showing you them the whole time, but they just didn't get properly introduced. Now they introduced them, and now they're going to go off doing their own thing as the year 1 students, right? So that's who they are. Will they be main characters? I don't know. Or you just the guys in the background that every now and then you do your special attack and blah, 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 maybe.
Well, we'll see. I'm interested to see where they're going to take this.
Still let me down.
When did had they said when it's going to come out or no?
I think early next year, maybe.
Oh,
I don't know though.
Okay. I didn't know if it was something coming out pretty soon.
But the first 9 episodes, probably some of the best anime I've seen in a long time. Like, it was really good. Really, really, really good. And then it just kind of fell off a cliff. Terrence, would you recommend this to?
Oh yeah.
Of course he would. Yeah.
So I would.
What type of people are you recommending this to?
People who like action. People
Okay.
who like straightforward. Because I believe in the first part of this, everything was straightforward. There wasn't no plot twist. There wasn't anything like that. This was okay.
They're telling
Put
you
your knuckles
this
up.
is yeah.
We about to make this happen. And then if in the meantime, in between time while we're fighting, I'll give you some of our history between the two people, or if there was or if there wasn't. And I like that. I did. I like that a lot. And then when, even when, and so I think 6, when he was like, "You're fighting me, but you're not giving me everything."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Okay, I got you."
Like, you don't even know why you're fighting,
Right.
kind of
Let
thing.
me kick my shoes off.
I mean, to me, the Sakura and Togame fight was like, that's probably one of the best fights I've seen in 15 years.
Yeah.
To me. Yet it still, like I said, still fell off. Still disappointed me.
Yeah. Well,
what you think? You recommending this to? Who you recommending this to?
No, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know anybody that watches anime except you guys.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If they
No,
watch
I would
anime or
not. I know. No, this is not. If somebody has never watched anime, I'm not going to have them start off with this.
No. What if they like I like kung fu movies. They're like, Shang-Chi is my favorite movie.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
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 Well, I've already been recommending this to people. So
Right.
when I was at the convention, now to be fair, I had not finished it. Again, I had just assumed that it was going to stay the course, and then it didn't. So they made me look stupid
And everybody that I've told,
with their crying and their blushing and their man crushes.
Everyone you told what?
everyone that I've told, I said it's a lot of action.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Even when they're saving the cat, I mean, there was action. It's been action. Even when at the end when he was making a new friend who was wanting to save his old friend, there was action.
Yeah.
So the action portion has not left since day one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what it is, either be fighting or jumping down a bridge or whatever the situation, there's always been some kind of movement. So, and it's always been moving forward. I will say that. This has been moving forward. Even like at the end, when you see everybody walking down the stairs together, everything is moving forward. So I enjoyed it. I don't think there's a perfect anime. You can always pick and pull what you don't like.
Well, this one ain't close.
But in the beginning, this one was nice, man.
Yeah.
In the
This is
beginning.
nice.
Yeah.
But
in the beginning,
I
it
don't
was
think
like,
it was nice enough to where if you give, so prime example about anime. If I give you a 12 episodes, right? And I give you 8 to 9 good episodes, and somewhere along in the line, and I'm not going to say, cause this is, he said the last ones let him down. I just think they were there. I don't really think that they were like,
they were a waste. They were not. I would think they were a waste of time.
I think that when at the end when a old girl met with him and was like, "Hey, this is my best friend," and he's going through, but he goes to school with you guys, and he's going through some going through. It was trying to start a story, another story.
Mm-hmm.
A story that he didn't.
That's the best way to put it. when you start a new anime and those first 2 or 3 episodes kind of slow because it's character introductions and all of that, story, plot development, and all that kind of good stuff. They did that at the end. It seems like for season 2.
Oh,
And that's what's strange about the whole setup here. So when I'm looking at 13 episodes, you did character and plot development in the first 2 or 3 episodes in the beginning and at the end. So you really shorted me some. You had 13 episodes and you had 6 episodes that were character introductions and character and plot development. So you really only had 7 episodes of like
story
getting down to, what we need to be getting down to. So and I expected in the beginning. I did not expect it at the end, and that's where it let me down.
So I'll say 7. 7 was when they broke bread. They went up on the roof and broke bread because that was pretty much the end when he told dude you can't fight me because you're not fighting.
Well, that was like 9.
Was it 9?
9 or 10.
So
yeah.
9 or 10 when they went and broke bread, right?
But that's what I'm saying. 7 plus the 3 in the beginning that gets you to 10.
Okay.
So that would be like a natural ending.
It almost seemed like that was the end of that arc.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure. Because I
So
was like trying to figure out what they were going to do.
And maybe that was, who knows? Maybe they had more time and more episodes, and they
just
finished
kept,
up.
They just kept drawing.
They finished up early. We say they finished up early because it seemed like that was a cutoff after they broke bread, and then he went back to school. And when he went back to school, then that's when they met the new people. He met the 3 new people.
Maybe that's what they were trying to do. Is like they were trying to. They did the 10 episodes and then they reserved the last 3 to kind of start slowly transitioning into the next season.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it. Now, for someone who didn't like the fighting necessarily, you didn't get a whole lot of fighting those last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Did you like those last 4 episodes?
Yeah, I mean they were okay. I didn't love them,
But you like humor.
yeah. I
I think there were more it was more humor in those last couple of episodes.
No,
as
I
well.
feel like it was more male bonding emotion.
I was glad to be done with the fighting. So I was kind of welcoming like what's going to be next. But no, I didn't love the last 4 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love this I mean, I didn't really love this anime. I liked it. It was, but I really liked I appreciated the quality of it.
Yeah, it was high quality and the humor that was in it. I don't necessarily think there was a lot of humor in those last few episodes, but I feel like there was more humor earlier on. It was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it had in the beginning. Those, let's say the first 10 episodes, they had the perfect mix of seriousness, drama, humor, and action. It was action heavy, but it's a shonen, so that's kind of
fight somebody. That in itself is So
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I don't believe that there's a perfect anime. We have tons of anime out here, and I don't believe I don't believe that I've watched one through what it is. There are episodes that are better than others, and there's usually an episode or two that's So I'm okay with it. But if this was how you said the up to high to come back to start over and start in mid form, maybe that's their style.
I'm expecting season 2, episode 1 to just get right into it. So right where they left off, I don't want to see no recap. I don't want to see no rehashing. At the end of this,
everybody got to give you a recap.
At the end of this season, they were on their way to go whip some ass.
They can start off with on last season.
No, they were on their way to go whip some ass. So however they do it.
Do they do recaps in these in Windbreaker a lot?
Yeah, like damn near every episode had some kind of flashback to something that already.
No, I don't
happened.
mean flashback. I mean when an anime starts, usually they'll do like a recap.
Oh yeah. No, it started to do that more as the
right. In the beginning they didn't.
In the beginnings they didn't, but it started to. Like it would start off with the same. It would come from break and start off with the same thing that it ended before you went to break. It would start off the next episode the same way it ended the last episode. So season 2, episode 1, they're going over to that other territory with the blue and white people, and they're going to whip ass. And if it's a tournament or however they're going to handle the beef, it needs to be already there and being established within the first 5 minutes. Or I'm gonna be pissed.
So
I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't know how long
Get
this
to it.
anime will go on because
Shit.
how many games are you gonna have? We've seen 3 so far.
Yeah.
Here's the orange, and then we have the blue and white, which is like they look more techie.
Well, I mean, I feel like now that you done made friends with the Shistoran,
Right.
now that leads up to maybe a bigger Avengers Assemble moment for some other big scary group over here. You know,
Okay.
the black and gold team. You know, whatever. So anyway, y'all better get to it, or I'm turning shit off. Y'all ready for round 2?
Yes.
Round 2.
Quote man.
How important is it to keep movies true to the source material in 2024?
2024. So I got some examples of here, right here on the screen. We kind of talked about it earlier. X-Men 97. We're going to talk about Borderlands in the next round. The Last of Us TV show versus the game. You know, all the Star Wars lore that they changed versus, you know, how
The lore.
The lore. Aquaman. I just think that's a big one. Of how he was in the comic books that people know versus what he was on screen, kind of two different people. And then obviously some of the newer Star Trek series that people don't like. The thing that they say they don't like about it is that it's not like TOS or TNG and going off on individual adventures every episode. Exploration, right? So what do you think? I know you started to hit on a few things earlier.
So
what you think about source material?
I have questions now. I have a question, and then
Okay. All right.
So I did watch this Star Trek, and I liked it.
Discovery?
I like Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery dope.
And now there are parts of it that I felt like went off on a tangent sometimes, but I liked
Like it.
I liked season 1. I don't know if have you finished it?
We have 5-6 episodes left.
Okay.
Of season 4, I think.
Season 5.
Season 5.
So I finished it, so I don't want to say anything. So I'll leave it alone. But I did like the way it started off.
Mm-hmm.
I always like Spock. I've always liked Spock.
Yeah.
So
how you feel about, like I said, and to be fair, I think people just make up shit. That's not really the reason you don't like this. I think if you watch this, I think you know the reason people probably actually don't like this.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do...
Twofold.
And it has
2 reasons why.
3 or 4 reasons, right? But it has nothing to do... she's black, she's a woman captain, you got non-binary people, you got gay people, you got all that stuff. That's the real reason why people don't like this, right? But if they want to say, oh no, the original series, they went off on every episode to a new adventure and exploration to a new planet and blah, 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 and they were exploring the okay. So how important is that to you? Because to me, there's a natural evolution, and there are people who actually bash TNG to this day because of that.
Because of what?
The fact that 85% of the show was filler.
Oh, yeah.
And had nothing to do with the overall story.
What you say, So
The next generation.
I like Next Generation.
Me too.
I like it, but any given season with 20 plus episodes, you can miss 15 of them, and
Right, because they don't really translate over.
No, like
They're isolated.
Anything that happened in that
So
last episode don't
like
carry
you
on.
don't like the. So here's my thing.
Well, no. It's not that I don't like it. I just think this D Space Nine type big long stories that translate from season to season and characters and things that they went to actually mean something in later seasons and all that. One big story is better to me than the
Isolated episodes.
So I like
episodes.
isolated episodes.
Oh, you do?
I do. I like planet to planet. Because when I grew up, that's what they did in the original planet to planet. They unless there was like a 2-parter or something happened or whatever, and it was more than one. That's what I grew up on. So when I started watching, not as much planet to planet and more of a whole, basically ship and the lives on the people on the ship. Some people I care for, some people I don't. But in the meantime, why don't you go to that planet over there so you can tell me what's going on that planet?
Yeah.
So my problem with that, again, I still like it. I will still watch it. Hell, we watch it every day.
I would say we do watch it every night.
No, I watch Star Trek every day, except for Saturdays. because it doesn't come on Saturdays. I can still get it. I can go watch Paramount Plus and get it, but on regular TV, cable TV, which I still have, comes on every day except Saturday. The problem I have with that is similar to the problem I had with Windbreaker. You did the character setup, you did all that stuff at the end of a season, which is kind of weird. When you do that episodic, I got to go to a planet. Then guess what? You got to meet the inhabitants of that planet every episode. It's a new race. It's some new people. You got to find out their names and what they do and what their powers are and what their problem is. And you you really don't even get to until 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in. We really don't get to, you know.
Or like what they normally do is, well, you have all of the episodes so you can watch them your way. But like when you watching an episode and you watching it on TV and that's like episode 25 and the one before that was episode 5, yeah, that planet to planet sometimes it can, I understand it can be kind of put things out of order. Now with us and this Windbreaker, of course, it was all in order because it's done, so we could watch it. But you know, a lot of times when people are experiencing a Star Trek for the first time, they may be watching episode 10. So there's no.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to break it, but here's the deal. So I think there's a generation of people, no pun intended, a generation of people who, and me included, if I missed first 2 seasons of a show back in the day, that was it. I couldn't go rent it on DVD. I couldn't stream it.
For sure.
So you didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
So those individual episode type shows, it's fine. Like Law and Order. Every episode is just another case, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you can get into it easy. You don't need to know all the backstory, right?
Yeah.
So people who didn't like Voyager, it's just like you jump in the middle of it on this 7-year journey and you don't know what the hell going on.
Yeah.
You don't know how they got there. You don't know what's happening. You don't know who they fought. You don't know where these people came from.
Right.
So yeah, I can see that it can be harder. But today, that's why it says in 2024, source material is important now because you can stream. You can stream that.
But this isn't really about which Star Trek series you prefer, right? It's really how do you feel about the fact in general we could comic book movies, all sorts of stuff.
Well, but the source material for Star Trek is episodes based.
Oh, okay.
And people are saying that they don't like the new the new Star Trek because it's not episode based. So source material being, I'm going to this planet, I'm going to that planet, I'm going to that planet. So my biggest pro for that is that you can just jump in at any time and you will be okay.
Yeah.
But now in the days of streaming and binging, who cares? Because you can start over from you can start at Discovery right now, season 1, episode 1, and you can watch it all and be done by next weekend.
Yeah.
So
look here, that's what I did. Because I had Paramount, and I was like, I followed her in The Walking Dead, and I liked her character then. And then I was like, I like her character in this. Now there's some episodes that I'm put off by her. Some of the indecisiveness, but I like the show.
Oh, I do too. I love Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery dope.
I don't really care. I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean,
The
but
source
that's
material.
Yeah, but that's also because multiple reasons. One, if we're just using some examples, if we're talking about Star Trek, I really like TNG, and I really like Deep Space Nine, and I really liked Voyager. I liked all of them. I mean, so I don't.
I think you even kind of liked Enterprise.
So I want to check the Enterprise is the new one with the
no, that's old.
Oh, okay,
it's the old.
Is that the one with the?
It's after Voyager, with Quantum Leap dude.
No, I want to watch the Quantum Leap dude.
Scott Bakula.
Yeah, I like Scott because I like him as an actor.
Yeah, I do too.
So I want to check it out, and it's like more original based.
Right, it's like the OG.
Yeah.
So I think you said something about that earlier. You said something about going back or something. It's like I can't recall a time where a show or something like went back and showed or did something and it was actually good or successful. Because I think that was the biggest problem with Enterprise. Like
it is hard.
I mean, you go from like top tier technology in Voyager to going back to
like basic.
They don't even have shields.
Right.
So they don't even have comm badges.
That's the history buff for me. Like I like history.
Yeah.
So if it gives you the history without all of the, because now like when I'm watching the new one, they got all the perks, the bells and whistles.
Ooh, and it's dope too. It's dope.
Boom. And it does a spin.
Yeah.
So okay, so yeah, we got all the bells and whistles now. Let me see what they had without the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
You have boring.
Well, I like history. How do you progress in the future, or how do you move forward if you don't understand what the past was about?
You can get the history in current things. You don't have to actually go back and
I like it.
and make it.
Yeah, I like make it. Make me a sandwich before you gave me Uncrustables. Make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before you took the crust off. You see what I'm saying? I want to see how it was done in the past and now.
Because Star Trek always talking about past captains, past this, past events, past wars. This happened, that happened, first contact, this and that, and that. They always doing that.
Even like when he had the dream, Captain had the dream about him being set on fire, and before him and Spock left and went on their merry way at the.
You're talking about Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, I haven't seen Strange New Worlds, but he had the dream where like. He saw like him being on fire.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, whoa, maybe I should watch Strange New Things. And then I was like,
Strange New Things.
Just be making up shows now.
Strange New Worlds. So
part of old age. Part of old age.
I mean, I would definitely say if you're a Star Trek fan, watch Enterprise. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's yes, at the end of the day, when you compare, it is kind of like this is very different than the others.
But it's over too, right?
Yeah, this is old.
It got canceled.
Oh, they got canceled?
Yeah.
This was like in the 90s.
No, it was early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
But it got canceled?
Yeah, it got canceled.
Yeah. It's not as good. It's definitely not
it
anywhere
got
near as
canceled
good.
for bad ratings. I guess you could say Discovery got canceled for bad ratings, but it actually it got canceled.
Discovery is which one?
It got cancel culture.
This one, Discovery.
The one with Michael Burnham.
It got canceled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the last season because it got canceled.
Because of those things that we were talking about earlier.
And it got
most
canceled
likely.
because of the bashing that it took for those other things. Okay, but we're not supposed to be talking about Star Trek. We're supposed to be talking about source material.
So now you can speak on comic books.
I like source material. I think X-Men 97 added a lot of those elements of source material. So,
but did it cheat? Source material being the original show or being the comic books?
So this 97 felt like an extension because it wasn't anybody new. You weren't adding any development of Storm or whatever. It was like, okay, here's the original, and now this is the extension. Now, those had 8 seasons? I think the original had like 6 or 7 seasons, and this only had 1, and it smushed, like you said, they smushed probably about 2 seasons into 1 season.
But I feel like every conversation we've had with you. Mm-hmm. And probably Ray too, when we bring up the differences in movies than the comics,
we don't like them.
You don't like them.
We don't like them. So we want the source material.
But you also have to remember, you also want it to be a good, entertaining movie. Like you said, a lot of the comics are really serious, right?
Serious
like super serious. So that would kind of get old.
Well,
what do you think?
So me being a person who used to do comics and now don't. It's just a situation where on the surface, I'm not talking about any specific book or any specific artist or writer. I'm just saying on the surface, comic books are dying brand and they've been dying for 20, 30 years, right? So to think that we're going to make a live action adaptation word for word, bar for bar,
I got you.
from the comic books and it be successful, I just don't think is the case. And if you do it and it's not successful, even though the comic book nerds might love it, if you do it and it's not successful, guess what? They're not going to make it anymore.
Right. So they'll end it. They'll end it where it is. Yeah. Right.
So I'm at the point now where it's just like, yo, I'm good with not going word for word,
bar for
bar with the source material. I'm good with that. As long as you do it right. Because I think there will always be the argument that if you make a movie and you don't do it word for word,
bar for bar
with the source material, and it's bad, then the argument would be, well, if you would have just done it like the comic book, it would have been good.
But I can understand the uncomfortability when you know a character to be a certain way, and then they make a movie and you're like, that's not at all how that character was.
Well, what about this? What about this then? Comic books and books in general you don't necessarily, comic books a little bit more than regular books, but you don't know how a character is. 90% of it is just in your imagination. You are imagining how a character is.
How like you're interpreting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't read. I didn't read comic books.
Yeah, so comics are pretty straightforward because you have graphics, you have pictures.
But you can't pick up the humor if there was intended humor.
There'll be gestures, right? So it may not be like a full blown like, hey, knock knock, but they'll put them in there. You know, so they I don't want you to think that it's, I mean, yes, a lot of it was more so serious, but and based upon the time when it was written too. So a lot of those were doing wartime, a lot of those were doing civil unrest, Black Panther, Luke Cage, those civil unrest. Now you have black characters. It just, I mean, a lot of times that when they were written, there was something else behind it.
So let me ask you this, and I'll answer the question. I just want one more question. I mean, I have one more question. Generally speaking, based on all the comic books that you've read and in the movies that have been created, generally, are the characters in the movies similar to how they were in the comics, or are there a lot that are way off from what how you had interpreted them? So,
I'd say 70% of the stuff is pretty good, pretty close.
Okay.
Now, a lot of things were different based upon rights.
Oh yeah.
Studio.
Yeah, there's so much other stuff.
So like, you know, like we talked once before.
The Hulk.
Yes. Hulk has never been funny, ever.
Yeah.
But he's humorous now. Hulk smash. That was never Hulk.
Yeah.
Or Venom. He was funny, but now there's almost like they're trying to push him into this loving kind of funny quality. That wasn't Venom. So
like Windbreaker. Anyway, go ahead.
So I understand why. Yes, there is some. So a lot of times source material is important, but I think like creative adaptation is what's used when people start to complain about how you changing the source material.
Yeah.
Well, it's my right. I can do what I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Captain America and Iron Man. That's my daddy shield. So it's the whole aspect of, I get it. You want to keep it as close as you can, which is I'll give you 70, and then I'm gonna take that 30% and then.
So this is what I'll say about source material just in general. I think making a comic book, generally speaking, you still have limitations. So is the comic book actually even source material? It might be the source material for the consumer, but just because Thor was written a certain way in the comic book due to limitations, that doesn't mean that's how whoever made him, Kirby or Stan Lee, intended him to be. So you're not, so when people are saying source material, it's like it's not even really, it might not even be the source material. He could have wrote a whole journal full of notes on when he made new characters. This is what it's supposed to be. This is his backstory. This is his story going forward. This is who he's going to fight. And it might not necessarily even shown up in the comic books because you're limited when you make a comic book.
So I'm pretty sure at this time, if Stanley has passed, but if because Thor and a lot of the other characters, they're older. So if there was any room for him needing to add any adaptation or whatever to the comics, that would have been added. So I really feel like comics are a true source of the source material. Now,
at least what got made to print.
Correct. Now we all take notes. I didn't take none today, but we all take notes because we're trying to when we're reading about something or we have something we're trying to go over. But
well, and
that being said,
and the only reason I thought about that is because like this podcast, we're on episode 150. Mm-hmm. We had a conversation the other day that this show, even though I can control every single aspect of it,
okay,
is not even close to the original vision I had for it. Even though I control every aspect of it,
but it's the source material. That box, not everything in the box, but the box that you had planned for it to be, is that still the semblance of the original, minus the changes, of course?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But it's to the point where other people watching, viewing it, are now perceiving it as something completely different than, one, what it is, and two, what it was supposed to be.
Perception.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, it's so at the end of the day, how important is the source material?
I think it's very important, because I really believe, like, at the end of the day, like you said, you still had your box. You still had the box of, regardless of the changes.
How important is it to be word for word, bar for bar? That's
what you're asking. The difference in being, so word for word, bar for bar. I just feel like it depends on the entity.
Because I can make a case that The Last of Us, even though it was high quality, was boring to me because it was really close to being word for word, bar for bar.
Yeah, it was.
I knew exactly what was going to happen the next episodes. The few episodes that they threw in with new stuff ended up being my favorite episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, it's like, oh, I know what's about to happen here.
So basically, with source material, you feel like at times it can be boring because you already know
what's supposed to happen. Yeah,
and
a little bit,
And I really feel like it's really just the adaptation to screen, source material, and then the adaptation to screen. So I get it, and The Last of Us, I'm pretty sure a lot of people say, meow.
People loved it.
But,
I mean,
yeah, but I think generally speaking, the people who loved it
weren't people who played.
They didn't even know there was a game.
Exactly, they didn't even know a game existed. Now, I'm not saying people who played the game also didn't love it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, generally speaking, the average person that I meet and talk to in everyday life has not played The Last of Us.
Nor did they even know it existed.
Right, but they might have seen the show.
Yeah,
and they liked it.
I will say this: I don't think it's important at all to be word for word, bar for bar.
Okay.
I do think, though,
Soldier Boy.
Yeah, I do think, though, it is important, especially with comics, that, well, I guess with anything, not just comics, that you try to stay close to the original. You can put some spins on it to make it entertaining and make it more open to a larger audience. I understand that at the end of the day, they got to earn money on this to continue to make movies. I get more frustrated when it's based on a true story type of movie and they just make stuff up.
Yeah.
Like the big football player, Michael Oher or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like they showed this scene where he was walking in the rain and Sandra Bullock picked him up and he was just walking in the rain. That never happened. But they made that like such an emotional part of the movie. So you're like, this poor kid was homeless and walking in the rain and she came up and saved him. Mm-hmm. No, that's not what happened.
But he was never, well, I don't want to say he was never homeless, but at the point in time where they met him, he wasn't homeless.
Yeah. So I'm bigger about it when you're talking about real people and their stories.
Okay.
But generally speaking, with comics and even video game movies or whatever it is, you should stay pretty close. I mean, at least 70%. I think that's a good number.
So you hit the good number.
Yeah, I think that's a good number.
All right. 70%, stay 70% and 30%.
And I will tell you this, just sorry, one more thing.
Okay.
Like the Hulk thing, that was a good example because I saw Hulk when it came out in 2003? Mm-hmm. And I didn't like it. But I felt like it was very serious.
Mm-hmm. Who was that? Eric Bana? Hulk?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. I didn't see the Ed Norton one.
Blasphemy.
I know, because I love Ed Norton. But I love, my favorite is the Mark Ruffalo kind of like, and when they do his face, like they animate his face looks exactly. I mean, and I'm not a comic person, so it's like, I think that says something.
Yeah.
Or appealing to a larger audience.
Right. Well, yes, because a lot of people want I guess they don't. So, yes, when you go to the movies, do you want to see all the serious? Probably not. I get it, but at the same point, you could really go and give those characteristics to other characters.
Yeah.
You don't have to make Hulk happy. You could, because what's the name? He's a scientist. Mm-hmm. I don't know many scientists, or you don't watch a lot of scientist movie where they're cracking jokes and they're having a good time.
But
that's not a scientist.
But it's a situation of it's a situation where do you have funny Hulk and have Hulk? Or do you just not have Hulk at all? Like I don't think there's not an in between there.
So my understanding of it, at the time they didn't own him.
They still don't.
So they don't really know what to do with him.
But I don't feel like he's like cracking jokes and funny. I just feel like he's kind of soft. And he's like, hey, you know, like, am I not remembering it correctly?
Well, you might be talking about Bruce Banner. There's a difference between, I think he's talking about Hulk. You talking about Bruce Banner.
Well, I'm talking about Hulk, like when he's green and he's got the glasses on.
Oh, you talking about Smart Hulk.
Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
I love Smart Hulk.
Well, like I said, they still don't own the rights.
Correct.
So they're limited in what they can do with him.
Correct.
So it's either do something that the other company that owns his rights approve of.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about
It
it.
was a Sony.
Or nothing.
Yeah.
Is it
So-
Sony or was it Fox?
It's not Fox. I don't remember who it is, but or it's either that or nothing. So would you rather have a large audience who likes Smart Hulk, even though you hate him, and it still generates money, so you get more Avengers, or do you just want it with no Hulk at all, and then people like her maybe don't like the Avengers, and then they don't make as much money, therefore they don't keep making the movies. You see what I'm saying?
You can, if you want something soft and fluffy, you can find something soft and fluffy. You don't have to make somebody soft and fluffy for the audience, you know? Because there are other characters who are.
So you'd rather have no Hulk than have that Smart Hulk?
You rather have no Hulk that people like and spending that money on, so you get more Avengers.
I mean, we know you'd rather have the true Hulk. We know that, but if they're not going to do that, then the other option is
No
Hulk or Smart Hulk.
So since the Avengers are pretty much soft and fluffy,
Soft and fluffy like a dog.
since they are pretty soft and fluffy until they Avengers unite.
Yeah.
They soft and fluffy until they have their moment. It is what it is. Like I'm not on board with this, the way they're portraying him, but like you said, there are others who are on board with it and they like him. But Hulk is not a pet. Hulk has never been a pet, and I feel like that's what they put him at. Like even like with in the movie with Infinity Wars, he was the first to go down, of course, but he didn't go down like that.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where he was in fear.
Yeah.
And that's another, aspect that I don't like. Hulk fears nothing.
Apparently he does.
I can definitely
and
see.
that's the unsourced material
Yeah.
portion.
Yeah. Generally speaking, I can see where you would feel like about that. But as far as what does it have to be word for word, bar for bar? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. As long as it stays on course. Every word that he said, but Hulk only says like a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
So until he becomes like Gray Hulk, it just
that's the thing. The original Hulk was gray.
yeah, he went green.
The original Nick Fury was white.
Yeah,
Well, but he was white because he was white, but he was gray, and then they missed something happened with the printer,
Oh.
so it turned him green, and they just left him green.
Oh, that's funny.
Is it?
and then with Nick Fury, yeah, originally he was.
So your green is not even source material.
Wow, that's ticky tacky tomato.
Your green Hulk not even source material.
It was gray.
It was gray.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but that would that ain't got nothing to do with. I mean, that's still source material. If we getting down on macros and micros, no, but he's been green for.
He ain't green. He ain't even green.
He been green for years.
Yeah.
So
Look, y'all ready for we got one more round.
We got to get
Y'all
to it.
ready?
Let's go. Yes.
Round 3.
Woo! Round 3, Borderlands. 10 minutes, spoiler free. You got a high level synopsis for us?
Yeah. So what appears to be happening here is we have Lilith, who is a bounty hunter,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
she gets
Boba
hired.
Fett.
Yep. So she gets hired by this guy to go find his daughter.
Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes to Pandora and tries to find the daughter for a hefty payment.
Yeah.
And
Get that money.
Encounters, I guess, a group of
Vault hunters.
Vault, yeah. And this movie really is about, their adventure trying to keep the daughter safe.
Okay.
Is that a fair high level?
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot going on, but I think that's
that's good. So first off, we already done a couple of episodes about this. As far as the Rotten Tomato score, I didn't look it up today, but I'm pretty sure it's still bad. First thing I will say is this movie is not as bad as these reviews will lead you to believe.
Agree. I thought that was gonna be my hot take.
No.
I was gonna say I'm like, this is not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. Now, me being a Borderlands fan, this is really hard for me to review. Because on one hand, I feel like there are clear things that they could have done to make it better. Right. However, I'm trying to stay objective though. Right. Forget about those things that I know about the game. Forget about the source material.
See, I don't.
And
here
just,
we go. I don't know source material.
And just rate the movie for what it was. Kevin Hart was Kevin Hart. I don't like Kevin Hart. He's not funny to me. Luckily, he's not in the movie that much. Right.
I thought he was kind of toned down a little bit for Kevin Hart.
A little bit. But the character he was playing, generally speaking, was a little toned down.
Okay.
But the character he was playing was more militant as well, and Kevin Hart was not that at all either. The graphics weren't bad. The acting was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I feel like she played a pretty good Lilith.
I love Kate Blanchett. I can't even believe she was in this movie, but I really like her.
I felt like she played a pretty good Lilith, so that was good. Claptrap sounded like Claptrap, acted like Claptrap, so I was good with that. One problem that I really saw with this movie is that I think it was marketed wrong.
Oh, really?
The way they did all the marketing was Jamie Lee Curtis is in the movie, and Kevin Hart is in the movie, and Kate Blanchett and Jack Black is in the movie, right? That's how they did the marketing. But at the end of the day, and this is not too much of a spoil, the beginning of the movie, after the opening credits, was word for word, damn near
bar for bar,
with like the first Borderlands.
Oh, really?
Like that whole scene where she shows up to Pandora and there's the bus and then there's the claptrap and then the scene. So did you watch Ghost in the Shell live action? Scarlett Johansson?
Like 8 years ago?
Like, did you watch it though?
Yeah.
So do you remember specifically there were scenes in that movie that looked exactly like the anime?
Correct.
That's what happened here. And I feel like that's how they should have marketed this movie, as something close to Borderlands. So if you like Borderlands, you will like this movie. This movie is really about Lilith.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But they don't market it that way.
No.
It's really about Lilith. And so I feel like it was a miss there. Overall, I'm tempted to say this was a good movie.
Really?
It wasn't great. It wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't a 6 or a 10 or whatever the hell was going on Rotten Tomatoes.
For real, 10%.
Yeah. What you think, Terrence? No spoils.
I drifted
What's
while
that
watching
mean?
this.
You were driving and there was some slick spots?
No.
Tokyo Drift?
No.
You hit that emergency brake?
When I'm watching a movie, I'm focused, right? When I lose my focus, my mind starts to drift. There were times when my mind started drifting. That doesn't mean that I say it was horrible, but I don't think it was a theatrical production.
Okay.
Now, that being said, when I mean theatrical production, I mean like I could have caught this on Apple TV. I could have caught this on Hulu. That's what I mean. I don't mean, hey, I'm gonna go spend.
No, I mean when you say it's not a theatrical production, that to me that means it's a B movie, straight to DVD.
Yeah, I won't say that. I
don't feel like it's not that
because
at all.
I watch stuff on other platforms, and so I am of the ilk. There are good movies that come on other platforms that have not made it to the movie theater. So That's where I'm at with this one. That's not to say that we're not at that point yet. So
Don't spoil nothing. What you
Yeah.
got?
So I felt like it was I didn't walk out of there feeling like it was a good movie, but I felt like this was okay. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to really explain that, but I was just like, this wasn't bad at all. This was fast. Like, it was short. It was only like 100 minutes, which I always appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like long. I there were parts of it that I felt like were not good. Like in the very beginning when she was talking to those guys that were trying to hire her for the job.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene, something felt like this feels bad acting, not on Kate Blanchett, but like something just felt off about that scene.
I think the worst actor probably was the dude that played Atlas.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to be a bad guy with like an accent,
mhm.
but it was just.
It came off as,
he was by far the worst actor in the movie.
it came off as like cheap almost.
But
like
luckily, he was only in it.
he was barely in it.
Barely in it.
Yeah. So I loved Lilith's costume. And of course, I mean, you know, her whole outfit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I loved, like, I don't know if you call it set design. I don't know what it's called, but the whole scene, like you mentioned, when she shows up at
In Pandora.
in Pandora, yeah. The story was okay. It wasn't great. I didn't think it was a great story, but I also, I think I mentioned this a minute ago. I don't have any. I didn't want to play the game, so I don't know if they're on. I don't know, like, if they're even on with these characters. I appreciated the fact that Kevin Hart wasn't Kevin Hart to that nth degree, screaming constantly. But no, for the most part, I was like, oh, this movie's fine. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't really know what everybody's problem with it, and I think I do know what the problem is. I'll probably get into it more once we start doing spoilers. I think I actually know exactly what's wrong. Not necessarily, yeah, what's wrong with this movie. As far as why it did so poorly, right? But I mean, the other part about reviewing this movie, outside of knowing so much about the source material, is watching it right after we watched Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not saying that this was better than Deadpool, but I definitely think this is a lot better than people say, and I think Deadpool is not as good as people are making it out to be. And generally speaking, outside of the multiverse stuff in Deadpool, they're very similar movies. You got over-the-top characters doing over-the-top things in some wasteland.
Yeah.
And you know, they were in the void in Deadpool. They're on Pandora here. There's crude jokes and weird humor, right? The main difference is one was rated R, one was PG-13.
Yeah.
So they were very similar movies, and it makes it hard to review a little bit, coming right off the heels of Deadpool.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I know you're not generally speaking a huge fan of kid actors.
No.
But I really liked the girl that played Tiny Tina.
I was gonna say she was probably the second worst actor in the movie.
I don't even.
The kid. What you think?
Yeah, I'm indifferent.
I don't know what it was about her. There was just something about her that I was like, I just really like her. I'm not saying her acting was like top notch, but
Well, yeah. But
Because let's give it another minute, then we can get into the spoils. Because
well, it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
Do you so I give because you know during my time we had a lot of child actors, right?
Yeah.
I don't grade them the same way.
I don't grade anything on a curve.
No, I don't say that, but their grading scale is different all the way.
That's grading on the curve then.
So you believe that a kid actor should be able to act like a person who's acted for 15, 20 years?
No, I don't expect them to act that way. I expect them to be bad actors, which they are. So I expect you to stop putting them in movies and lead roles because I don't want to see it.
But
that's my expectation.
But if the part requires a child,
then I don't want to see it.
Okay. I
Yeah.
respect that.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that she was a good actress. Like yes, it was subpar.
Did you like the actress or you like the character?
Did she give you warm and fuzzies?
I think it was a little bit of both. There were
Okay.
some parts that I didn't like that she did that I was like, that didn't come off great. But I don't know.
So let's end the spoil-free portion by saying, did you like it or did you didn't like it? And would you recommend it to people?
So let me say this. I didn't like it.
Okay.
And would I recommend it to anybody?
I liked it, but I probably wouldn't recommend it.
Same. I liked it, but I would not recommend it to people. And I'm going to get into why right now.
Go.
Okay.
So I'm not going to talk long, but and just based upon let me kind of stack it right here. So like I said, I've watched movies on other platforms,
Mm-hmm.
and Apple's
Why
a pretty.
are you comparing this to Tubi movies?
I'm not talking.
Tubi.
Look, I did watch a Tubi movie a couple of days ago.
Don't do it.
It's a black movie. It was straight from the hood, but it was funny. It's called
Don't do it. Don't be plugging that.
Three Baby Daddies.
Oh,
so,
Lord.
Oh my God.
You comparing Borderlands to Three Baby Daddies in them.
but I've also watched Apple Presumed Innocent.
That looks good. But anyway, okay,
Right.
Go ahead.
Presumed Innocent. There was another one that we watched when we were kids. Time Bandits.
Okay.
And I don't like Time Bandits as much because it has your girl in it from Friends.
Oh,
Kudrow.
Lisa Kudrow.
I don't think she's funny. I mean, and her acting is kind of. But anyway, so I've seen other things, other places. I feel like this was there. I don't know if I would follow Lilith as a character in the direction that you went, but I can see that since if you're starting something new, I guess you could start off with Lilith, right? But there are other interesting characters that you could have did something with.
Well, I mean, mostly all of Borderlands is about Lilith.
Oh, even the game?
Yeah.
Oh.
But
No, Lilith is like the main character.
she's
Okay.
she's the character in the middle that everybody comes to. But there are other things that go around with other characters that you could have did something with. I'm not a fan of Kevin Hart. He's not funny. He's a little,
Yeah, he little.
and his humor is
Yelling.
slapstick.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see him in a movie where he's not
Like it didn't
like Jumanji,
it didn't have to be Kevin Hart in this movie. It could have been
Correct.
any. It could
you
have
could
been
have plugged anybody else.
anybody in there for this role.
I am a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis, but I felt like she was at it. Like
Yeah.
she didn't have to be here either. Like her character was kind of at it. And it
I mean, she looked the part.
yes,
She looked the part.
She was a little. She's too old, but everything else looked the part. The hair, the height, the clothes. Like she looked the part. She looked like tennis.
and like I remember you guys talking on another episode about her relevancy, right?
Mhm.
She is the Scream Queen. She is what started Scream Queen.
Yeah.
But then she went off and made movies that were more family orientated, and then she tried to come back, and then she did the one with Arnold, the
True Lies.
True Lies. So she's versatile in that genre, action or
Family or Scream,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
But if you but other than that, I feel like they could have did something else. Now, I'm not upset with you making, because it seems like every game will eventually get a movie.
Will it? I mean, because I feel like this is the first one. Has this been happening?
Well, it won't, and that was kind of my point in some of the other shows. If you keep putting out shit,
Well,
then people will stop financing movies, right?
We'll stop financing
Or
the game
games.
movies.
Game
Yes,
movies.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, most games get a movie or something, but then, like he's saying, they be poo poo, and then
But for me, as far as something live action, I mean, I think I like this better than Sonic. I like this better than
you saw the Sonic movie?
the first one.
First one.
I liked it better than I liked it better than some of those Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie that are not really memorable. They weren't like horrible, but to me they're not memorable. The Resident Evil kind of started to fall off at the third one. I feel like the first one was really good, true to the source material, and then it kind of just went sideways, and then they really just kind of fell off a cliff. So it's just like, that's why this one is so hard. So I want to talk about Tiny Tina real quick. My problem with Tiny Tina is she was probably my favorite character in all of Borderlands, and talking about a toned down version of Tiny Tina, I'm talking this was
nothing.
If Tiny Tina is on the game is a 10, this girl in this movie was like a 2.
I do remember, because I barely watched you play one of those Borderlands games, but remember it was like offshoot.
Yeah.
We were talking about the other day. And
probably Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yes, and she's like screaming the whole time.
Yes.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yes.
So I did notice too, I was like, this doesn't seem like that, but I still liked her. Anyway, go ahead. Way off.
But at the same point, Tiny Tina in the game is not a child.
Yes, she is.
I don't feel like she's a child.
Yeah, she's a child.
What do you?
Well, she's like a teenager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't.
She's not an adult. Let's put it that way. She's not a.
Yeah,
she's not 8.
Feel like she's. Yeah, I don't feel like she's. Yeah.
But I don't feel like this girl was 8.
No, I thought this girl was like 13.
Yeah, something like that.
In real life, I think she's 16 because I looked it up. But whatever.
So I think the main problem with this movie is that you did not make it for Borderlands fans, and you also did not make it for the masses. You tried to do something in between, and
correct.
That's where you actually failed. I feel like you should have just went all in for the Borderlands fans. Because I feel like this was more for Borderlands fans than it was for the masses, right? If you follow Borderlands, like this, some stuff was like spot on, like right on the nose, and I feel like you should have just went all in on that, because you made it different, too different in places, right? That alienated the Borderlands people.
Correct.
Like Tiny Tina, you're not getting Tiny Tina exactly like the game. That's bad for Borderlands fans, and they're going to be like, boo, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
You doing Kevin Hart as Roland. Boo. What are we doing here? You having one of the psychos running around with you. I don't remember that being a thing.
Never.
That's a boo. The psychos are like the bad guys.
Correct. With the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he was there with. Now, having Tiny Tina front and center, as you can see her right here, acting like in the movie that she was the main character. That's what the movie was about at the end of the day. Tiny Tina being the final key to open the vault in Pandora. She is the special one. She is the main character. She wasn't even in the damn first game.
Nope.
So again, for the Borderland purists, it's like, boo, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
Which
right?
goes back to source material.
Source material. So it's like when you do it wrong, even though I like the movie, obviously they did something wrong, because this went horribly wrong, right? As far as reviews and box office numbers. So bad, right? Barely making $10 million. Bad, right?
Oh, yeah.
So go back to what I said earlier. When you don't use the source material and it goes horribly, horribly wrong, and you put hundreds of millions of dollars into it, that's when it's just like, yeah, you should have just stuck with the source material.
Correct.
So do you think that the did Cate Blanchett pull off Lilith?
I think so. I think she
wasn't too old.
She was too old, but her face looked like lots of plastic surgery.
Yeah.
So I guess it was okay.
Okay.
Considering that the game was like a cell shaded game, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as her acting and the words and things that she was saying, I was like, I can 100% hear Lilith saying that.
What about? Okay, so the person Jamie Lee Curtis played.
Yeah.
She was pretty. Because here's the thing, I think Jamie Lee Curtis is a good actress.
Yeah.
And I liked their approach with trying to make this kind of like quirky scientist lady. But I didn't know, I didn't think she was pulling it off.
She was a little more high strung in the games than she was here. Here, she just seemed a little scatterbrained.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
I just thought quirky. But
But in the game, she was a little more high strung. So I don't really think it was, I might blame Tiny Tina's performance on the actress here, but mostly I'm going to blame that on the director and or the writing.
Yeah.
Right. Now here's the thing about Tiny Tina that really stood out to me. When she was on camera, she was a 2 as far as being word for word,
bar for bar
with Tiny Tina from the game.
Mm-hmm.
There were times that it clearly looked like they did some stuff in post-production where she was at least a 6, at least a 6 on that scale, that Tiny Tina scale. She was at least a 6, but they weren't showing her. So it's like, I think you just went and added that in post. You probably had her in a vocal booth doing it over and over and over and over.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there was inconsistencies there. So like I said, my thing is you added in a Tiny Tina where she didn't really belong, and then you didn't even do her right. If she would have been like Tiny Tina from the games, I think we're in a whole different place here.
Anything else that was either spot on or way off?
I feel like the early introduction of the Crimson Raiders, the guys in the red, like I feel like they were usually, the closer you got to, I don't know, Fort Knox, right? General Knox, or Fort Knox, or like to the main camp, that's where you got the Crimson Raiders, like those higher tier quality, enemies. They were kind of right there in the first 20 minutes. It's like, what?
And I get it. It's a game, movie. So a lot of stuff we've been with Borderlands 3. That was the last one.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland, for what it's worth.
But the
Borderlands 3.
You smush a lot of stuff into a movie,
and they shouldn't have.
Correct.
They should not have tried to smush a lot. You should have just had one cohesive story about Lilith, and I feel like you should have marketed it that way. Maybe you're not in this situation.
Yeah, because the marketing
10 million. Ooh wee. And I'm pretty sure the cash you paid them, they made at least 10 million. So you ain't made nothing.
Yeah, I think it said the budget was 100 million, which is low.
I keep hearing other numbers. The number I originally saw was 160 to 180.
Okay.
And then every number I see after that is lower and lower and lower. So it was over $100 million.
Right. And then you only made 10. So
far.
10 to 16, something like that.
Maybe
worldwide 16, maybe.
Oh, so it's overseas. It's already gone overseas?
Yeah.
I this would not have been, out of all of the games that we have or we played, this would not have been one that I'm all chummy with.
Now, when you went in to see the movie, did you already know that the Rotten Tomato score was low?
No, I didn't.
Had you heard anything?
No.
See, so that's interesting because I feel like there's like I feel like I don't like knowing things about it because I think it changes your perception.
But word of mouth. So even though I didn't hear the Rotten Tomato scores, I listened to podcasts. I listened to people who,
Okay, so you had heard that this was not doing well.
I didn't heard that it wasn't doing well financially. I heard this was street garbage. I've heard these.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So the street garbage. This is people were falling asleep.
Yeah.
No.
I was just curious how if it would have been different, if our take would have been different if we had seen it before all this 0%. It was horrible.
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Because you go in and you're like, you can't help but think like, okay, here we go. No, you don't. I'm more like that, but it just makes me wonder about how it would have been perceived.
And let me say this: not the masses, but the people that I've talked to who've gone to see it, they went to sleep in the movie.
Interesting.
Nah, this is not Batman Cape Crusader, because that's what I fell asleep on. So it was slow as hell. Like there was nothing slow about this movie.
Mm-mm. And I didn't even check my watch. I usually always check my watch.
Usually when I fall asleep on something, it's slow and boring. I would not paint this as slow and boring. Even because to me, the action scenes were on point. The choreography with the guns, and I was like, okay, get it, Kate.
Because it's the game of how many guns? Gazillion guns or whatever.
Yeah, a gazillion. Yeah. A gazillion guns.
Yeah.
Like even in the beginning where she had put her bag on top of the right, and then the bus pulled off, and then the bag popped off.
Yes,
that's like from the game.
That's part of the game.
That's like spot off the spot.
I don't remember which one it is, but one of the games
where your loot pops out of people like that on the game. Anything. You get a new gun, it pops out of somebody like that. So it's just like spot on stuff from the game. I think the other thing that probably really turned people off, which I say this a lot about Battle Angel Alita, that movie. I said that was too soon. I don't think the masses are ready for little big-eyed, bug-eyed anime girl with skates for feet. Right? I don't think the masses are ready for that.
Right.
This movie did not ever show or give you any inkling that somebody was going to turn into freaking fire wings and start flying around.
Okay.
So then all of a sudden, when you get that and you don't know anything about the source material, this is strange. This is weird. So I think, like I said, I think they should have honed in more on her story and gave you more little bits and pieces along the way that, Lilith is different. She might be something different. So be ready for something different to happen with her. And they didn't really do that. They did a little bit. That was that one part they were in trouble and then they teleported.
Right.
But they didn't really go deep into it, right? So is it as bad as people saying it is? No, not even close. Is it the best top tier movie? No. Like I said, my ceiling for this is that it's a good movie. A lot of the reviews that I've seen specifically from people who have not played the game, all those people like it.
Interesting.
But and we just talked about that in The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those, because they don't have preconceived notions.
Right.
There's no expectation.
Correct.
So they just went in and they just watched it and they were like, okay, like it was an action movie. Now, would it have been even better? Again, so there's things that can made it better. I talked about Tiny Tina, right? I talked about Roland being miscast. This should have been a rated R movie. Borderlands is rated R. And, and then, so when I do the comparison between it and Deadpool, it should have sounded more like Deadpool.
Deadpool's rated R?
Should be a R plus or something. Should be NC-17.
Okay.
Like
So
it's bad.
So there's a comparison to the game, like there's a lot of cussing, or what makes you think?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of cussing.
Yeah, Borderlands is a lot of, it's info mature.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Okay.
cussing. It's a lot. Yeah. So that would have made it like even better. It was tame. It was, like I said, they tried to make this for too many people.
Because even in the game, Tiny Tina, she cussed too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It blows up everything.
Yeah.
So in the game, is it the same thing? Like her dad's trying to find her and the whole game is them trying to protect her? Is there any story about Tiny Tina in the game?
I feel like Tiny Tina was more like DLC.
She was DLC.
Yeah. Was she
was
DLC
added.
on 2?
Yeah, she was DLC. She's added. She was one of the added characters because she has the mech.
So what's the story in the game about? Why is this 13, 14-year-old child in the wasteland or whatever?
Because the way that Borderlands 2 was, when they did the DLC, the game was already out, and they came later, so they didn't change the story. I don't know.
She wasn't a part of the main story.
No, she wasn't.
It was just some DLC little 15-hour side thing. There was this little girl who blows everything up.
Correct.
Oh, there's no introduction, no story. No.
I'm Tiny Tina. I blow shit up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was because there was her and another character that came out.
Yeah.
And then they
Now what's the big girl's name that fixes the cars? Because they actually showed her at the end if you were paying attention. I forgot her name.
She has a little bitty voice in this country.
Yeah, but she real big.
Yeah.
Yeah. They showed her at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To
If you
leave
go
open
back and
for.
look. I mean, it wasn't a post-credit thing. It was just at the end where they're all getting ready to celebrate. Like she was up there. I recognize the outfit. But no, not after this. They will never make another Borderlands after this. I go out.
Oh no, they can't risk it.
No, you only made $10 million.
So it'd be like the Rocket. It could be like the Rocket Horror Picture Show, what becomes cult classic.
Oh yeah, could. You never know.
It could.
15, 20 years from now. Hey, did you ever see this movie right here? Yeah.
Well,
I'm just not. I believe we talk about this all the time with comic book movies, right? There are so many people who and we can use that word for today. Interpretation. Whose interpretation is different. There's 50 different interpretations. Borderlands fell in that, but it wasn't 50. You have a group over here and you have a group over here, and one is the purist, and one is what's going on.
mm-hmm.
And the purists were like, "No, we good."
So my message to people out there, especially to the purists, is that if you're a true Borderlands fan, go watch it and look at it through those Borderlands lenses, and you will catch most of the movie being enjoyable. There will be some things that will make you mad, but you just got to get over that, because again, what we talked about in one of the last segments, source material that's a thing of the past, right? So it's not word for word, bar for bar, but you know, it was good. It was a good movie, and it was for the most part entertaining. The action scenes were good. The cringe parts were limited. And I don't want to say Kevin Hart was cringe. It was just Kevin Hart was Kevin Hart.
And I'm not used to every movie that I've seen him with a gun, he's done something stupid. And so now that you are basically like bona fide shooter man, it's like.
The only cringe part to me was when they were driving through wherever and there's like urine coming into the window. I was just like, what in the world is this? Like, I didn't like that.
That's a Borderland thing.
Yeah,
it is?
You usually got weird gunk and stuff on you all the time. Constant.
Yeah, that's a Borderland thing.
And then the nasty toilets. When you go, you can go loot the toilet. Like, you can damn near loot anything on Borderlands.
And they fly open. And money flies out and stuff flies at you.
And poop and everything else just flies up, and it makes a nasty noise.
So when he says this should have been a rated R movie?
Yeah.
Because the games, all of them games are mature.
Yeah.
Ugh, I didn't like that. I thought I did not like that.
But the games are cell shaded, so
right. So it's not like
I feel like that was also a miss. They did it a little bit with Moxie, but I've seen so many cosplayers now that pull off the cell shaded look with their paint. I feel like all the characters should have had that cell shaded paint on them to make it look like the game.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Moxie did it a little bit. You know, she had a little bit of that kind of makeup going on, but, you know, not really.
Yeah.
So anyway, one more time, you didn't like it.
They did like
and would not
recommend.
You did like and would not recommend. And again, I'm saying I did like it, but would not recommend this. And I can't even make a call to action for people to go out and support it, if just for the sake of supporting a video game, right? Thing, because it might be too late now.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can say is that when this comes out on streaming, everybody go stream it.
Yeah,
that's what I will say.
Yeah.
Everybody go stream it just to support the genre. Right, because now you're gonna not only scare companies off from making video game related movies, you're gonna scare named actors from being in them as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and we don't want that. So anyway, y'all ready to wrap up?
Yes, sir.
Episode 150, man.
It's been good times.
Where you been, bro? We starting off like we're doing the intro.
Cycle of a circle.
We're doing the intro. We're doing the windbreaker. I'm doing the intro.
If
for
you
the
missed
next
something
show.
earlier in this episode, let us recap it for you right now.
Yeah. See,
Terrence been busy.
Busy.
Good. Feel good.
I feel good.
Back on the mic.
Yes and yes. Yes and yes. I should have probably kept the blanket in the chair.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, I feel good.
You said you was ready.
I was.
He's like, I don't need this stupid blanket.
Yeah, he threw it on the floor.
Yeah,
he chunked it on the floor.
then I was like, oh, now I gotta turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, for the most part, I feel comfortable. I do.
Good.
I miss these words.
There you go. Well, you got to be back next weekend for Concord. See, I got it right.
Bang, bang, bang.
I got it right. Con Air. Queso. I was calling all kind of stuff.
Everything. I stopped responding after a minute. I was like, no. And then I was just like, okay.
So anyway, good to have you back.
Yes.
Thanks, sir.
Another show next week, episode 151.
That's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening to ANX Gamecast. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release new episodes. See you next week.
Check me out. I'm dancing. David Eddings, check your email. Jesus.
And respond.
Yes.